think we've made some good progress in recent days in working to expand that. Ambassador Satterfield remains in the region working that every single day. We've also had very important conversations throughout this trip with countries in the region on the role that everyone can play in making sure that the conflict doesn't expand, doesn't spread to other countries. And of course, we remain very focused on the hostages held by Hamas, including Americans, in making sure we're doing everything possible to bring them home.
Well, joining me now is Mehmet Celik. He's the editorial coordinator at the Daily Sabah, joining us live from Istanbul. A warm welcome to the programme. What do you make of the two foreign ministers meeting today? Do you expect anything substantial to come out of that meeting? We've not heard much so far, but do you think there'll be something tangible at some point?
Well, let's hope that something tangible will come out of this meeting. That we always have hope in diplomacy. But however, I think my reading of this visit is how you place it in the context. This visit comes nearly, a month after the initial incident happened on October 7th. So this is a delayed visit, number one. Number two, this happened at a time where Turkey is in the public opinion, or also in the official rhetoric or official remarks, there's a huge support for Palestine, as it always has been, but there is a louder tone and a stronger tone in criticizing Israeli atrocities or genocide in Gaza. So, number three, I think the fact that the visit comes right after Iranian foreign ministers visit to Ankara, it's also substantial it's important to note. And number four, it comes at a time where Turkey will be, Turkish parliament will be voting for Sweden's accession to NATO. So combining all these and reading, expecting something substantial from this meeting regarding Gaza makes me a little less hopeful. However, I think diplomacy should always be at work, but the timing of diplomatic effort, I think it makes a big difference in whether we should expect something out of these meetings or not. Of course, Turkey has always proposed for a two-state solution, and this has been the same rhetoric coming from the United States as well. Now, Mr. Blinken says in the future days there will be some results seen with regards to humanitarian aspect. But time is ticking, and this is costing a lot of lives. Every minute, children are being killed by the Israeli bombings. So, is this some sort of winning time for Israel? Because this is something that at a time where U.S. is strongly supporting Israel and has not been able to call for a ceasefire. So, all these combined, my reading is, to answer your question, I'm not as hopeful as I should be when we see diplomacy at work with regards to something tangible as a solution for Gaza, unfortunately.
Okay, well, as we know, Blinken has already got on a plane and left Turkey, but as we know, details of which often come out days later. And you mentioned the ceasefire there. Let's maybe just pick up on that, because Blinken, as we know, he's staunchly behind Israel and its right to defend itself against. He's also against a ceasefire as well, because that it may potentially offer an advantage to Hamas. Do you think that he's right to be cautious in that department?
Well, how can we be, there isn't even a humanitarian pause at this point, let alone a ceasefire. And of course, it is very hard for me to accept that he is right. He would, to consider him right for a ceasefire, because so far Israel hasn't mentioned how many Hamas leaders, for example, they have killed, or Hamas members they have eliminated during their bombardment of Gaza, which has displaced more than 1 million people, has killed more than 10,000 civilians. So that ceasefire aspect is, I think, it's very hard for me to understand that, they're saying there's no room for a ceasefire. Okay, well, if this is a deliberate target to Hamas members, then what has been achieved so far is something that we should also, I think, we should find out, or we should be told to, or we should be informed about when it comes to this bombardment of Gaza or this attacks on Gaza. Now, if this is not in place, then what is the ultimate aim that is preventing a call for a ceasefire?
Mehmet, thank you so very much indeed for giving us your views, the editorial coordinator at the Daily Sabah. We appreciate it.